Late at night, people often speak differently,
Yes, the voice becomes softer.
and sentences become slower.
Native speakers often choose words that feel unfinished.
For example, I do not usually talk about this, but
Very natural.
because night conversations often begin carefully.
Another common structure. It has been on my mind lately.
Very native,
Very real.
because people often open difficult thoughts slowly.
At night, simple sentences can feel very deep.
For example, I kept thinking about what you said.
A very natural line.
Another one. It sounded small at the time, but
Excellent native rhythm.
because many important moments feel ordinary first.
Another structure. For some reason, I remembered it tonight.
Very cinematic English.
Late night conversations often contain hesitation.
And hesitation changes grammar.
For example, I'm not sure why I'm saying this now.
Very common in real speech.
Another one, maybe I should have mentioned it earlier.
Soft regret.
Natural emotion.
And highly native.
Night often brings memory.
And memory changes sentence structure.
For example, that suddenly came back to me,
Very simple.
but emotionally strong.
Another line. I hadn't thought about that in years.
Very natural and deep conversation.
Native speakers often use contrast at emotional moments.
For example, I said I was fine, but I was tired.
Very powerful because it stays simple.
Another one, nothing happened, yet something felt different.
Very cinematic English.
Late night conversations rarely end suddenly.
They fade.
A pause,
A softer voice.
sometimes one unfinished sentence.
And that unfinished sentence stays longest. Sometimes people do not say, I miss you,
Yes, native speakers often choose softer language.
because direct emotion can feel too sudden.
A very natural structure is, it felt strange not hearing from you.
Very common.
Very real.
Because absence is often described indirectly.
Another natural line, I noticed the silence more than usual,
Simple words.
but very deep feeling.
Sometimes memory arrives without warning.
And English often reflects that softly. For example, something reminded me of you today.
Very native.
Very natural in daily speech.
Another one, I did not expect that memory to come back.
This sounds cinematic immediately.
Because memory often arrives quietly
Native structures that carry emotional distance.
to protect the feeling.
For example, it has been a while, but some things stay the same.
Very elegant. Another structure, I still think about that sometimes,
Very short,
but extremely natural.
because short sentences often sound deeper. Sometimes regret appears quietly.
Without dramatic words.
For example, maybe I should have reached out earlier.
Very common.
Very native.
Another one, I almost sent a message.
This sentence feels unfinished.
And that unfinished feeling creates emotion.
Sometimes simple English becomes powerful.
Some sentences become powerful because they remain simple.
For example, the day felt longer than usual,
Very natural.
and often emotional.
Another line, it was quiet in a way I noticed.
Very cinematic English.
Sometimes missing someone does not arrive loudly.
It appears in ordinary moments.
A familiar sound.
A sentence remembered,
A pause before sleep.
and suddenly, the silence feels personal.
When native speakers talk about the past,
They often do not begin directly.
because memory usually arrives slowly.
A natural structure is, It feels strange thinking about it now
Very common.
because time changes emotion.
Another one. Back then, I did not understand it.
Very native,
Simple grammar.
but deep meaning.
Sometimes a memory returns suddenly.
And native speakers often say, "That came back to me out of nowhere."
Very natural expression.
Another structure, "I had not thought about that for years."
Very common in emotional conversation.
Because forgotten memories often return quietly.
Sometimes the past changes when we look again.
And English reflects that change.
For example, looking back, it makes more sense now.
Very native.
Another one. At the time, it felt normal.
But now the meaning is different.
That contrast is very powerful.
When regret appears, native speakers stay calm.
For example, I probably would have done it differently.
Very natural.
Another one. There are things I would say now that I could not say then.
Very deep sentence.
Because language changes with time, too. Sometimes ordinary memories become heavy later.
For example, it seemed like an ordinary afternoon.
Very cinematic.
Because ordinary moments often become important later.
Another line. Nothing felt important then, but I remember it clearly now.
Very natural, deep English. The past rarely speaks loudly.
It returns quietly.
A sound,
A word.
a detail that stayed hidden.
And suddenly, the past feels close again. Some memories fade.
And some remain without asking.
Native speakers often describe this quietly.
A very natural structure is, "For some reason, that stayed with me."
Very common.
Because memory often stays without explanation.
Another line. I thought I had forgotten it,
Very natural opening.
and often followed by silence.
People often remember details first.
Not the whole event.
For example, "I still remember the way the room looked."
Very native.
Because detail creates emotional realism.
Another one. It is strange what the mind keeps,
Short,
but very deep.
some memories return at unexpected times.
And English often shows that softly.
For example, "It came back while I was doing nothing special."
Very natural. Another line. I was not expecting to think about that tonight.
Very cinematic rhythm. Sometimes memory carries unfinished thoughts.
Without direct regret.
For example, "There are parts I still replay differently."
Very deep.
Very native.
Another one. Sometimes I wonder what would have changed.
A classic reflective structure.
The strongest emotional English often stays simple.
For example, "It never fully left,"
Very short.
but emotionally strong.
Another one. Even now, it feels close.
Very cinematic. Some memories do not ask permission.
They return quietly,
In ordinary hours.
in silence.
And sometimes,
One small detail brings everything back.